Hey, before we get started here, the recommended round for this video is round 5, which is versus a mono black deck. Check that one out if you only have time for one round. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pioneer video. Today we have a rather spicy Jund Sacrifice deck list from Sean Q. So let's kind of take a look at the core of this deck and then we'll get to the spice. So the core of the deck is Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven. So Cauldron Familiar has a trigger that whenever it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And you can sacrifice a food to return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield. What Witch's Oven does is allows you to sacrifice a creature to create a food token. So this kind of allows you to start looping Cauldron's Familiar with Witch's Oven, allowing you to slowly drain your opponent out. And it happens a lot less slowly if you have something like a Mayhem Devil or a Zulaport Cutthroat in play that allows you to speed up that life loss by 1. Now, as far as the spice goes, this deck has Bolas's Citadel, which allows you to look at the top card of your library, and you can play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. This, in theory, combines with Aetherflux Reservoir. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell that you've cast this turn. So the idea is rattle off a bunch of stuff from the top of your library via Bolas's Citadel, and then gain a bunch of life with Aetherflux Reservoir, which you eventually use to shoot your opponent in the face with a laser. Now, technically, Bolas's Citadel also has another relevant mode to this deck, which is sacrifice 10 non-land permanents to make your opponent lose 10 life. So in looking at this deck list, I kind of have 3 concerns. Number 1 is the land count. I did a quick search, and it looks like a lot of the Jund Sacrifice decks are playing between 22 and 24 lands. This spicy version with Bolas's Citadel is playing 20 lands, so that stands out to me as a red flag. Number 2, we have Collected Company as a card advantage engine, while only having 22 creatures. I'm going to throw these off screen for a second here to just kind of show my point here. So like when we are looking at Collected Company, not counting these lands, like these are my hits. Actually, and this one costs 4, so that's not actually a hit, right? Like we only have 21 hits for the Collected Company, which is low. Now, admittedly, some of these cards like Mayhem Devil are very important for the deck to function, so I understand wanting a, like, air quotes, tutor for them. But I kind of wonder if the deck is being split between this, like, creature sacrifice combo and this, like, Bolas's Citadel Aetherflux Reservoir combo portion. So we're gonna play some games and kind of see how that plays out. So my concerns are not enough lands, not enough creatures for Collected Company, and potentially not enough support for this. / is the Bolas's Citadel just too slow and too inconsistent to work? We'll find out after playing some games. Addressing the sideboard. The sideboard actually has one of the things that's pretty common to the main deck of these Pioneer Jund Sacrifice decks, which is Korvold Fakehurst. Long story short, whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you sacrifice another permanent, and when you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on this thing and draw a card. So again, if you have the like Cauldron Familiar, you kind of like cheat the idea entirely of like really losing something when you sacrifice these permanents. Highlighting another card that you might not be familiar with, it's Spark Harvest. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you can either sacrifice a creature or pay 4 to destroy a target creature or planeswalker. I'm going to be playing the games today in the tournament practice room. I have a feeling that I am going to need to adjust this deck list, and like I'll probably play 2 or 3 rounds before doing so to make sure like I have a realistic feel for how the deck is playing out. But I don't feel like the numbers are right here. However, as I am new to Pioneer, I don't want to mess with a deck list that works before trying it out, but I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work as is. I hope it does, because comboing off via Bolas' Citadel would be absolutely sweet, but I'm super skeptical. We have to keep up with like blue-red Ledger Shredder decks, which are very aggressive. You know, they often play like the Arclight Phoenixes as well, which can get you dead very quickly. We have to like be able to goldfish against a deck like the mono green Storm deck that starts getting real spooky around turns 4 or 5. We'll see how it goes. I'm skeptical. I don't know that we have enough interaction. I don't know that we have enough creatures or lands. Let's see how it plays out. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy. If you're new here and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before the video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. All right. Round 1 opening hand has magic cards in it, but no real plan. I have Witch's Oven with no cat. I have Village Rites with no creature to sacrifice. I think this one has to be a mulligan. This one is fine if I draw a land. I will throw back one of the Woe Striders and just kind of hope that this gets there. I guess I should probably be taking some notes. Okay, so we are probably playing against the mono green Storm deck. And I don't have interaction for their early threats, which is not great. I guess I should probably take some notes if I'm going to potentially adjust this deck list. Let's keep track of what turn I die on. Yeah, sure. So that is going to make that tap for an additional mana. That's fine. Their turn 3 might actually be scary. Okay, there's a Cauldron Familiar. So this allows me to Coco next turn, which I think means that it is the play over the other things that I have in hand here. I'll get my Scion token, and this is going to be a damage report turn. Okay, so there's an immediate Nykthos activation. Opponent goes to 5 and plays the Cavalier. See what they hit with the trigger here. Okay, that's not bad. The rest of those just go to the graveyard and they get a forest. Okay. Absolutely could have been worse. I can greed and attempt to Village Rites, hit a land drop, and then play Collected Company. I don't think I can afford to greed here. I think I'm just going to attempt to cast a Coco mid-combat and see where that goes. But I think I'm probably just going to get goldfished by my opponent this turn. Like, assuming they have a Storm in hand, I expect the damage is done this turn, and like I have cast a 2/3 this game. All right, what are we doing? Okay, every card they play before tapping the Nykthos gives them mana, so they get like they either net some extra mana or just kind of break even on most of the spells. Okay, yeah, and here is the Storm the Festival. So my opponent gets to look at the top 5 and get 2 of these permanents into play. Okay, there's a Kiora, relevantly. Alright, so I get to untap the Nykthos. Now taps for more mana than before. And then they get to just flash this back for the backside of it immediately. Oh, that was really lucky for me. They just hit lands there. Let's see if they crash on in with this, and maybe I can make something cool out of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coco, I will scry 1. Fatal Push can go to the bottom. That is not a creature. Yeah, this is maybe not great. Like I get 4 permanents out of that, which is cool. But that doesn't really get me to a kill. Alright, here's red land. That gets me to a Mayhem Devil. Don't really want a Village Rites. I guess I can play a Cauldron Familiar out. Drain my opponent for 1. I could Village Rites here. 1 damage to any target. I guess I can kill this Planeswalker. 5. Yeah. Okay. I can also just, like, try to kill my opponent. Maybe I'm not going to get through the loyalty of multiple Planeswalkers. Yeah, maybe I should just go Dome here and see where this ends up going. I have 0 games in with this deck. I don't know my own strategy well enough to, like, know what I am supposed to be doing in this matchup. This is huge amounts of mana. Am I just about to get hit by, like, a giant Hydra? What do we need 14 mana for? Oh, okay. It's not 14. It's a lot more than 14. Okay. We're at 20 mana. There's also worlds where I can ping down the Llanowar Elves, but I kind of feel like I need to, like, go to the face if I'm going to realistically race my opponent's top decks. Oh, it is another Nykthos. Okay. I can't really count this high. Opponent basically has infinite mana. And it is ticking away for some large X spell. Genesis Hydra. Whenever you cast this rule at the top X card of your library, you may put a non-land permanent onto it. Okay, sure. Opponent's got some choices. The Topiary Stomper. Oh, that's the dinosaur. Sure. Alright, so opponent is going to take a Cavalier and potentially find another and the festivities. Okay. Opponent's got some gas, to say the least. So I think I will go ahead and block with a Cauldron Familiar here. We'll go ahead and sacrifice a food to make black mana. Always yield to this. Then I will cast a Village Rites, sacrificing the Cauldron Familiar. And we'll go ahead and scry. Do not need a land. We'll put that on the bottom. We're hoping to find gas to, like, try to deal 15 to my opponent in a turn cycle. Okay, that's fine. Ghost Rider makes 1 extra permanent, right? Another Cauldron Familiar. So I don't really have a way to just sacrifice things at will here, which is unfortunate. But I can gum up the board pretty well. I can go, like, black for a Cauldron Familiar, drain my opponent for 1. Oh, I guess the Woe Strider is a way to try and drain my opponent out here. This isn't actually nearly as bad as I thought it was. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drains. Or I guess 8, 9. Yeah, I'm really close to killing my opponent. 10 on recasting a Cauldron Familiar. Yeah, I get to kill my opponent next turn if I don't die. This doesn't trample. None of this stuff tramples. Yeah, I might be okay. I say might, and I feel like that's accurate. All right, there's another Cavalier of Thorns. Here's to hoping my opponent doesn't hit a Storm. Okay, cool, they didn't. That's all that then. Opponent does still get to draw another card. Okay. Oh shit, this... No, that does not trample either. Okay, is this just a giant Lair of the Hydra activation? Or is something else awful happening to me? Oh, neat. I will deal some damage to you then. This is a player. Alright, you can have your wolf. And something else big is coming. A Lair of the Hydra activation. Absolutely. Alright, so a bunch of stuff comes in. I'll just confirm, nothing tramples, nothing tramples. So let's throw a Cauldron Familiar in front of one of these. Pretty easily throw a Goose in front of one of these. At that point, do I just take 10? Go to 7? That's probably fine. That's probably fine. Alright, so let's sacrifice a Cauldron Familiar. King my opponent. I guess let's always yield to this. You are worth 2 permanents. Is that fine? 1, 3, 4, 5. I think I have better hits than that, and I'm going to get a couple of scries. No, that land can go to the bottom. Sacrifice a Gilded Goose here. Keep the drains up. Yeah. That can go on top. Absolutely fine with that draw. Alright, and at this point, I imagine I get to drain my opponent out for 11. Alright. Play Witch's Oven. Sacrifice a goat. Go ahead and save targets on that. Tomb can go to the bottom. make a food. Where do I click? I click here. All right. Sacrifice a food. Return that to the battlefield. Drain my opponent for 1. Sacrifice this. Target my opponent. Bleed them out. Keep scrying. Sure, you can stay on top. That's fine. Do the Cauldron Familiar thing again. Sacrifice a food. Return that to the battlefield. Drain my opponent for 1. Sacrifice this. The whole scry thing. Hit my opponent for 1. And opponent is very much dead here. I did not expect to win this game. But that's super cool. Sacrifice it again. Hit my opponent down to 1. Yeah, okay, they've gotten the idea. So that was turn 7. Yeah, honestly, just was lucky that opponent did not have a way to trample through my chump blockers. Honestly, I also kind of feel like their hits weren't the best. They've also just conceded the match, so I don't get to sideboard. So that is what it is. Okay, this is secretly round 3, but this is kind of the first thing that you're seeing here. Story in a second once I evaluate this opening hand. It's kind of whatever. It's just like missing stuff. Like I have land drops. I don't have a thing to sacrifice to this. I don't have a thing to sacrifice to this. Like this is my first play. Begrudging keep question mark. Anyway, I recorded about half a round and then like my computer just locked up. I'm not sure if it was a Magic Online thing or a thing on my end, but the game just like absolutely just crashed rather badly. I think I'm just gonna get my red source out of the way now and just like play a Witch's Oven. So I think if I find another like 1 mana play or something like that, this hand ends up being pretty good. And if I don't, it looks a little rough. Yeah, I now like how this is shaping up. Mana's not perfect here. I can't exactly like cast a Village Rites if my Gilded Goose were to get bolted or something. But we'll kind of see where it goes. All right, so we're playing against Spirits, sure. So I have my 1 red source, so I probably won't need another. Do I just start playing Village Rites immediately? Maybe. I'm going to play Catacomb Sifter for sure. And then, like, the question is, like, is it worth it to junk 2 permanents to Village Rites now? I think that's fine. So black mana, sacrifice a food, Village Rites, junking the Scion. I get a Scry out of this. I do not want more lands right now. I want, like, sacrifice loops. Like, Woe Strider's okay. I'm going to be under a swift clock here. Okay, yeah, sure. Curious Obsession. That thing gets a little harder in terms of the punchy department, and also starts drawing my opponent's cards, which can draw them into more spirits and interaction. A bunch of their stuff has flash. Combat is a little dangerous for me. This Fatal Push is either insane or unplayable, and it's very hard to tell until I kind of get going here. Because my opponent can just, like, play something that gives us hexproof, and that would be bad for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and shock here to better play around soft permission and attempt this. I don't necessarily expect it to work. Lofty Denial. Well, counter unless they put a 4, which I cannot do. So much for playing around soft permission. I guess I will play a Woe Strider then, and crash in for 2 points of damage. Like, I have a Gilded Goose, I guess technically 2 of them that can chump block at some point in this game, but I don't know. I'm not feeling great about the matchup. I expect to be dead in about 2-ish turns unless I do something pretty cool. Yeah, you can have your card. Okay. Can target instants or sorceries. Isn't the best. Yikes. Which isn't the best for me. Another fatal push. That's interesting. Is a Supreme Phantom or a Shacklegeist with a Curious Obsessions carrier? They're currently worth about the same amount of damage, but they do different things. I kill a Supreme Phantom, then Geese can block Mausoleum Wanderers some portion of the time. And the Mausoleum Wanderer tax gets smaller. So I guess I'll go that route. My opponent could double sacrifice Mausoleum Wanderers to counter this. I do not intend on using that for mana this turn. But I could just sacrifice with Witch's Oven and make a mana now, so that this can't actually become a counterspell. Which I guess is fine. Let's do that. A Collected Company. That sounds fine. I could use that card advantage right now. I guess it's more theoretical card advantage, right? Make a green mana with this. All right. So would you like to sack? Yeah. Okay. Then I will go ahead and just play a Gilded Goose. Make a food token here. Call it good. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to keep the Coco on top of my opponent has multiple Mausoleum Wanderers in play. I'm going to try to bait with Village Rites. This does mean I have actual attacks now, which is nice. All right. I guess the baiting isn't actually that great, right? Now these are smaller, so it doesn't actually sacrifice. Yeah. Okay. Let's junk this thing. I think my flyers are important. Sacrifice 2 creatures. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. I don't know. The play was probably Ben Coco specifically digging for Mayhem Devil. Okay, that's not great. That probably means that I can't block in this turn cycle. A Gilded Goose is just going to get tapped down, yeah. And then I'm going to take 5 here. That's rough. They get to draw a card. And I have 2 blockers that can be held back. I probably just take lethal next turn. I have to sacrifice this food here. Maybe I have to sacrifice this food here. I can gain some amount of life in order to try and stay alive. Coco currently gets countered. I unfortunately probably just have to like pass the turn here. I can maybe swing in with Woe Strider. Probably not winning if I don't. Yeah, alright. I got 3 damage in, but my blocking situation is very awkward here. I'm just like not quite there in terms of stabilizing. Yeah. All this stuff is just going to come in. That's reasonable. I can do a block here. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do a block here, make a food, eat a food, and then attempt to stay alive, I guess. It is not a feel-good situation, and my opponent draws a bunch of cards. But it's where I'm at. Opponent's at 10. I guess somewhat reasonable that I could like maybe beat them with drawing a Mayhem Devil. But like opponent just probably got a lot of soft permission. Alright. That's not gonna do it. If I play Coco, it just gets countered by this. And I'm pretty much dead. Sack some stuff with this. Yeah, I just have to pass the turn again. And my opponent is drawing cards and such while I repeat this cycle. I'm not even sure that I make it out of this turn cycle. That means I'm almost certainly dead next turn. So I have to go like I block here and gain 3 again. I go to 6. So I do have to block 2 things this turn. Or block 1 large. No. I guess I can block the 3/3. Take 5 damage after going up to 6. I suppose that works. Short of anything that increases their power at instant speed, but I don't think I'm beating my opponent playing more cards anyway. So like there's that. Let's gain the life. And I could go Actually, I probably want to sacrifice this for a food. Maybe I need to sacrifice for the scry, actually. Like, I'm not winning this game via food. Cauldron Familiar is cool, but I don't think I'm in a situation where that gets me to a winning line. I don't think I have a winning line, if I'm just being fully honest here. Because I think my opponent just, like, counters this, and then I'm dead. Yeah, okay. Concede. So that was a turn 8 death on my end. But I really lost that game on about turn 5. So as far as, like, note-takings go, I call that one, like, a loss as of turn 5. Like, it was at that point that I was just, like, extremely far behind. These are okay as removal. They kind of get outclassed pretty quickly. Corvold matchup, just like it flies, probably. I have never drawn a Bolas's Citadel to like get this side of the equation going. But I feel like I'm under so much pressure early that I probably need to cut some of my slower stuff here. And then maybe I fill with a Bone Crusher Giant as removal. That's probably reasonable. It feels to me like I play either the Corvold package or the Bolas's Citadel package, not both. I need more mana with this, but like this has the cat and the oven, so I probably keep it. I will play the Cauldron Familiar first. There's a world where I'm supposed to play the Witch's Oven first, so that like I play it around Spell Pierce effects. But this is the way that results in me getting more early damage in, which I think matters if I end up stumbling on mana. But I like very much could be wrong. Okay, is this the one that grows? Yeah, that's the one that grows. Sure. An opponent wouldn't trade that for a cat. I think I can go ahead and just go ahead and attack here. Get my 1 point of damage in. Play the oven. Sacrifice my cat. Make a food token. Sacrifice my food. Get a cat. And result in a drain 1 there. I guess all that can be done at instant speed. Okay, so they're just going to hold up mana to potentially grow this thing. I feel really good if I draw a land and really bad if I don't. Yeah, so I am unfortunately just chilling here, and my opponent gets to use their mana while I don't. So this was a concern from the beginning, right? So, we'll see how badly this goes. You don't fly yet, right? Yeah, you don't fly yet. I'll just go ahead and repeat the whole cat loop here. And sacrifice the food to return the cat. And take the drain 1. Land. Fuck. I'll probably go for Village Rites on my opponent's end step. I don't think I can do it now into 3 open mana. I'll also just do it at end of turn if my opponent levels up the spirit. Which they do. I will sacrifice Cauldron Familiar, give me a draw 2. Fuck. This is the land problem. So, life's bad. Ooh. Unlicensed Hearse is going to eat my cat. I have another one. So, like, that's nice. But that card is absolutely good tech here. I am pretty much ready to concede this one if I miss on this land drop. Okay. That does not produce red mana, though. So that's super bad. All right. I'll play on. Like, I have castable cards now. I think I'm going to play the Woe Strider in hopes that it resolves and it can be, like, good with Mayhem Devil a turn or 2 down the line. Rattle Chains, sure. So that can give a Spirit Hexproof, which is not super relevant here. Alright, opponent has plenty of mana to work with. And I can't really touch their flyers right now. Good God. Yeah, sure. Build your own Ancestral the hard way, I guess. I'm taking 9 this turn. And I can't block any of that. So assuming they have anything that they can use to through like the hearse or otherwise increase the power of these things, I think I'm just dead. Yeah, that missing that land drop there is just death. I will go ahead and concede. Like I can pretend that like I can gain a little bit of life with the cat, and that's not going to get disrupted by this hearse. But we're pretty dead. So this is the sort of hand where if I like randomly draw a Bolas' Citadel, it would be sick. But like I'm really not liking how the opening hands of this deck are looking, because like I'm requiring like a thing to sacrifice, a sacrifice outlet, and a payoff card. Like I'm requiring 3 things in order for like my hands to end up as good. So like I feel like I'm very frequently having uncertainty with the opening hands where like because I require 3 things in order for my hands to be good in addition to lands, like I kind of need to just keep something, but that frequently results in these hands like going very slowly towards their like ultimate end path. All right, so we're playing against a blue-red deck of some kind, which is potentially like a Ledger Shredder or Phoenix deck. Okay, I mean, there's a Bolas' Citadel. Like, we can maybe make this work. Backside of this is green, right? Yeah. Like, let's play the backside of this and maybe do cool things with the Bolas' Citadel. Okay, that one has resolved. Will this one resolve? It will. So we'll just chill. What is this? Guard it to create a treasure token. Otherwise, for 8 mana, 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Tap 2 permanents. Create a blue dragon. Draw 2. Okay, cool. I have not seen that card in action before. Okay, sure. I don't know that I just want to just jam Bolas' Citadel into 4 open mana. Yeah, I don't really think I can do that. Like, let's play this. I'm fine just casting a Woe Strider and potentially letting that get countered if like my opponent even cares about that. And then I can't really use these treasures if I want to use them for Cauldron Familiars in the future. Here's to kind of hoping that my opponent just doesn't have like some crazy combo finish that I'm playing into by just kind of chilling. All right. I will never need more than 1 red, I don't think. Just play this out. Crash in with a Woe Strider. Kill my opponent 3. And I don't mind starting this whole process. All right. Get to drain 1. I'll potentially just like sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar to scry. I would. Oh, okay, you're gonna bounce my creature. That's fine. I don't really care about that. I guess I'll leave the Cauldron Familiar in play then. All right. Opponent has a lot of mana. Let's just make some food. Now this thing can block, right? It can. I will go ahead and play out a new Woe Strider. Actually, if my opponent animates this, I will just kill it with a Fatal Push. I guess my attack for 1 is fine. Torrential Gear Hulk. Okay. Oh, I see. Casting Magma Opus. Sure. Well, now I kind of like know what my opponent was up to. Okay. So I'll go ahead and sacrifice this goose to scry. Aetherflux Reservoir with the Bolas' Citadel in hand? I have to, right? I absolutely have to put that card on top. It's just like required by law. Okay, that's fine. All right. So now my opponent can just block this. That's fine. All right. Do I want to eat a food in order to Fatal Push this token? Probably. Just like while my opponent is tapped out. Make that black. Fatal Push this creature. Call it a turn. And then next turn we'll attempt Bolas' Citadel shenanigans and hope that my opponent doesn't have a counterspell for Bolas' Citadel. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is fine. Okay, so that's their way to cheat stuff into Graveyard. I think I'll just jump with a goat here. I think that's fine. Fiery Impulse, sure. So my board's small, but I should resolve this Bolas' Citadel. Oh no, I don't have triple black anymore. I can't eat with a goose again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 5 mana and only 2 black. That's not great. How much do you escape for? Whoa, Strider. 5 and 4 cards from graveyard, so that would require the Cauldron Familiar dying. In theory, the Cauldron Familiar doesn't matter that much if I go off and do my thing. Oh, this also requires black. I would have to eat a food token here. I guess that's fine. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's escape that thing. That can at least help deal with this Goblin Shaman nonsense. Alright, I get my goat. I'm definitely worried that, like, my opponent just pulls too far ahead this turn, though. Alright. So that was a removal spell that just ate it there. Alright, you get a treasure token for attacking. I think I am fine with forcing the block and making them use their cards. The more mana they tap, probably the better for me in a lot of cases. And, like, this thing can just come back later. I'm also maybe supposed to block with a goat here and just preserve my life total for, like, Bolas' Citadel-based reasons. Alright, sure. I will accept the 2 damage. I was kind of hoping to 1-for-1 my opponent there. I got a little extra value out of that. Alright, they are getting my goose as well. Literally and metaphorically. So I top that, but again, I just lost another goose, so I'm not getting to triple black. Which is super unfortunate. So, like, I need to spike another black land here in order to, like, continue doing what I'm doing. I think next turn I have to resolve Bolas' Citadel or I lose. Because once this thing does not have Summoning Sickness, my opponent making a Torrential Gear Hulk every turn is just, like, absolute bullshit. So let's block with a goat. I'll sacrifice the goat to scry. Village Rites is a good card, but I think it's Bolas' Citadel or bust in terms of me winning this game. Alright. My opponent has 0 cards. I am going to absolutely sacrifice and try to find a black source. That enters tapped. That does not work. Bottom. Sacrifice again. That works. Alright, let's see if the top of the deck is kind. Play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bolas' Citadel. Well, absolutely Coco. Okay, this is what I'm talking about with that Coco. So we just, like, only got that. I have played a land for turn, so that is now stuck there. Yep. I guess I can Woe Strider Scry 1 here and try to keep going. That's probably correct. Question mark. Fail. Yeah, I think at this point I just lose.
I don't have the mana to cast Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yeah, alright. I think I'm going to have to, like, attempt to block with Woe Strider. Like, yeah. This is probably not happening. Alright, yeah. We'll go ahead and... Is this another? Sacrifice another creature. Destroy target artifact as well. Yeah, okay. Alright. So I think this is my point where I can say, like, this whole Bolas' Citadel thing is probably not going to work. Like, we had it in hand and couldn't cast it for many turns. Like, we had time. Yeah, that was turn 9, and I just, like, could not get Bolas' Citadel into play on turn 9. Yeah, so I think I have to probably just cut this package to get a couple more lands in the deck and a few other early plays. I think this matchup is absolutely a play big dumb thing matchup again. Not sure how I feel about Thoughtseize. Like, it's kind of cool to try to poke a hole in my opponent's plan, especially since I don't have that many early plays. Fatal Push, not exactly looking great. It can hit tokens. Yeah, I think I'll play Thoughtseizes instead. It's possible I should just play Bonecrusher Giants to increase the number of hits I have from Collected Company, though. Yeah, really don't know what's going on with my opponent's deck. Okay. Well, here's to hoping that these Collected Companies have text and hit relevant things. If they do, great. If they don't, this hand's very bad. So let's try to pick apart my opponent's hand. Probably take the Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. Yeah, let's do that. I can cross off one of these because that's just the same card. All right. So my opponent has a 2 damage spell up. Am I fine playing this into a 2 damage spell? Not really. Get green mana into play and I'll just Thoughtseize my opponent again. I can take that and then turn on the Cutthroat for the following turn cycle. Ooh, Shark Typhoon. Do I care about that? Shark Typhoon draws a card. I care about that aspect of it. Like, otherwise I just have perfect information. I'll take the Fiery Impulse, though. Like, I'll clear the way for my cards. Be good. Right. And if my opponent just cycles it on turn 2 just to, like, draw a card and get deeper in their deck, that's probably a win for me. Okay, yep. Orfold is not what I'm looking for right now. I really just want more lands. But this is what I'm getting. Alright, it's resolved. I need to hit a land drop, and it also can't be the ETB tapped lands. Alright, so I can't attack with this creature. I'll go ahead and just pay some life for this. Call it a turn, and then I'll intend on casting a Collected Company when my opponent cycles Shark Typhoon. Yep. Alright, Coco, don't do me dirty. That's fine. Do I just get multiple Woe Striders here, or do I pick up a Cauldron Familiar? Multiple Woe Striders and just, like, having more power on board sounds good right now. Any order those. Make some goats. And since I have the Cutthroat in play, those goats do become bleed damage, which is pretty good. Alright. I don't have a ton of information about my opponent's hand anymore. I think that's fine. Gorwald looking hot. Gorwald looking real hot with multiple goats in play. This will be a Coco whenever my opponent kind of drops their guard. And if they don't drop their guard, that's okay. I'll just do it end of turn. Okay, sure. Yep, so you can block however you want here. So there's blocking like that. I will go ahead and take this opportunity to resolve a Collected Company. Oh yeah. There's a Mayhem Devil. That's what I'm looking for. Alright. So bleed my opponent for 1. Activate a Woe Strider. Sack a goat. Deal 1 damage to one of these tokens here. Bleed my opponent for 1. Yeah, I'll take another Collected Company. That's fine. Alright, opponent's at 15. Let's see. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8. And then I start losing pieces. I don't have lethal this turn, but I probably have lethal next turn. Yeah, that's not a great spot for my opponent. Alright, I'll just shove. I think shoving with the Mayhem Devil is fine. That's fine. Deals my opponent 7 damage, puts them at 8, and then I just hold up Collected Company for when they, like, try to cast a removal spell on this. Dig through time. I think I just try to kill them in response. I don't know. Or no, I don't have to deal with, like, Force of Will effects in this format, so I can just let that resolve. And then kill them. Alright. They've made their choices. I cast another Collected Company. Another... Yeah, that's my 3rd Collected Company hitting 1 creature of this league. Alright. Yeah, so there's the concession. So Cocos feel great there. Well, okay. Let me clarify. Collected Company, when it hits 2 creatures, feels great in these slower control matchups, but my creature density is low. Like, there's 25 here, but, like, the Corvolds aren't hits, so there's really only 21. Definitely like the Thoughtseize plan, though. This has a Mayhem Devil, it has a Woe Strider, it has 2 lands. I'm missing red mana, kind of. I don't know, maybe I keep this. Like, it technically has 3 mana sources. Maybe that needs to be good enough. I think I try to Thoughtseize first and take early removal. Okay. Don't really want to take Magma Opus, because opponent can, like, cast that from their graveyard in some cases. I just take Mystical Dispute. I probably just take Mystical Dispute for it being the thing that's different, despite the fact that, like, I think Consider is potentially better. Alright. So there is my red mana. The backside of this is my green mana, and I can try to do some cool stuff. Opponent didn't have an end of turn removal spell for this, which was nice. I can potentially be looking at a Coco immediately. Play this. Just play the better card now. I think I play Catacomb Sifter now, actually, to just make it more likely that I can resolve a Corvold, because that's going to dodge a decent amount of my opponent's removal. Consider is fine. Junking a land. Alright, and they are going for the treasure token. So I guess, yeah, you can't sacrifice yourself or anything, so that occurs. And kind of here's to hoping Corvold can just do its thing. Do I want to? I probably want another black mana. 2, 3, 4. Sacrifice the food token. Make that 5. And I am just going to do this pre-combat. Do I actually just eat the goose? Yeah, just eat the goose. Alright. So that becomes a 5/5. I can go ahead and attack with this. If my opponent does something to mess with it in combat, I can just sacrifice it to itself to draw a card. Here's to hoping this card can go all the way. Yeah, you can absolutely make a chump blocker. With Mayhem Devil, I can probably do some dirty things. I think I'm just gonna play the Mayhem Devil this turn. It just feels so strong right now. Just go ahead and just. I could have done this slightly more optimally. 1 damage to the shark here. Draw a card with that. Play a goose. Make a food. Village Rites. Sack a goose. Mayhem Devil U. Corvold. Absolutely just going ham here. Alright, go to combat. Back with Corvold. Junk a food. Mayhem Devil. Trigger you. Corvold is a big. Corvold smack hard. Opponent's at 9 and is dead to Corvold next turn. Hell yeah. We'll see if my opponent can do something super cool to stop this. I also potentially can just, like, kill my opponent not in combat with Mayhem Devil triggers. Put it on the top or bottom of library. Sure. Do I have my opponent dead if I play, like, Ghost Rider and Gilded Goose? Also, do I just fire off a Collected Company right now? Mayhem Devil gets in, that's 3 damage. And then I do have enough bodies. No, it's not technically lethal. I kind of just want to Thoughtseize before casting Collected Company. Alright, let's send that on the bottom. Alright, Thoughtseize, target you. So none of these things are counter spells. I assume this is unfair. So let's take that. And I'll go ahead and cast a Coco. Getting a Mayhem Devil and a Catacomb Sifter. That's very good. I think that just means I probably have lethal here. Do that. Play an Oven. Attack for 3. Puts my opponent to 6. Which is Oven. Sacrifice Catacomb Sifter. Throw 2 things at you. Okay, actually this isn't lethal. I can't sacrifice the food. So I should not have sacrificed that creature preemptively. If opponent sacrifices this treasure, they kill themselves, by the way. Yeah. That's Mayhem Devil. Triggers at you. And I sacrifice this creature for mana. Yep, okay, there we go. GG's. Let's make some deck adjustments. Okay, I've done some tinkering, and I discovered some new cards that I didn't know about that I think actually make the Citadel plan viable. So I did some looking at John's sacrifice deck lists, and I discovered Prosperous Innkeeper. When it enters the battlefield, make a treasure token. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. So this helps offset the life loss from Bolas's Citadel while giving you more collected company hits and giving you another turn to play, which was something the original version was very much lacking. And then there's also Priest of the Forgotten Gods, which you can sacrifice 2 other creatures to make your opponents lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. Then you get to make 2 black mana. So both of these things allow you to accelerate into Bolas's Citadel, which is something that this deck was like very much missing. So this deck now has a creature count of 30, it has a land count of 22, and it has more ways to get into Bolas's Citadel. I think this is going to help out a lot. If we take a quick look at the lands, while not all of the lands produce black, we're a lot closer to that being the case now. So I think there's going to be fewer situations where we just like cannot realistically cast a Bolas's Citadel. Now, admittedly, this does stray from some of the donors' original plans of like the cat oven stuff, but I think if you want to make Bolas's Citadel work while also still having a collected company portion of the deck, cutting those copies of Witch's Cauldron might be the way to go. As far as the sideboard goes, I've tried to keep the pivot plan of Corvold live while leaning a little bit heavier into discard because I really liked being able to kind of punch in with Thoughtseize. So I've got a mix of Thoughtseize and go blank now. So let's take this into a couple of games and see if we can like actually make the whole Bolas's Citadel thing fire off well. Okay, since I have 2 copies of Bolas's Citadel, this is already, like, technically a 6-card hand. I have 4 mana towards a Bolas's Citadel or a Corvold. I'm not sure if this is a keep. I think I just mulligan this one. Like, I want to draw a Bolas's Citadel in the late game. Yeah, this is fine, I think. Let's keep this and pitch 1 Woe Strider, I suppose. And I always need green mana. So let's play this one here. And I probably use this for black, but there's worlds where I don't. Alright, we are playing against another Steam Vents deck. Alright, another Innkeeper. Cool. I think I am just supposed to play one of those this turn over a Priest of the Forgotten Gods. I can technically have Priest active next turn, but I don't know that I really need to turbo things out in that direction. It doesn't necessarily feel good to me. Alright, what is opponent shocking for? Like a Ledger Shredder, a Thing in the Ice. That's a little annoying. I guess we're going to try to Priest of Forgotten Gods that away. Alright. So I always play this, and then the question becomes, like, do I just play a Prosperous Innkeeper to have another body on board? I end up, like, staying the same. Actually, I sequenced that wrong, didn't I? If I was going to do both of these, I should have done it the other way so that I gained 1 more life. Alright, let's yield to those. Call it a turn. And then I'm hoping next turn to, like, play a Woe Strider or Catacomb Sifter, sacrifice some creatures to Priest, and kind of, like, start to, air quotes, do the thing. Lightning Bolt on my Priest is really good here, though. Just, like, fold... Oh! Unexpected. Oh, please, no. No! That's so good. Now I'm facing down 2 copies of Thing in the Ice, which are going to flip at some point. So am I just gaining as much life as I can in the meantime? I can potentially hold up a Coco next turn. I already can do that with the mana available to me. Let's Woe Strider. This Prosperous Innkeeper card is sweet. Like, there's 2 life, I make a goat, there's 2 more life. That's not bad. And I may take an exceptional amount of damage this turn. What is this? Look at the top 3 cards of your library, 1 in your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Sure. There are like Phoenixes in here too? Not that I see immediately, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. Alright. I have black, black. I guess this side should be played for green. All my shit is going back to my hand. So I think I will just be annoying and gain a bunch of life in the meantime. It is not an insignificant amount of life that I am gaining here off these innkeepers. It's just a shame that, like, the thing in the ices are going to be so, so very good at dismantling what I've got going on here. And I guess technically this pushes a single point of damage. So I will do it. Yeah. Um, Thing in the ice is a legit magic card here. Opponent's gonna get what? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana worth of value out of them. Okay. Opponent making another land drop before doing whatever it is they're doing. Yeah, sure. Their selection is really good here. Yeah. Alright, so they got rid of Ledger Shredder, Strategic Planning, Lightning Axe. Alright, Fiery Impulse on the Woe Strider. So I can just let them bounce my Woe Strider to hand. I can sacrifice the tokens for value, though. So let's get a couple of scries on here. Do not want a Llanowar Elf. How is land? Land's actually not bad. I think I will go ahead and top the land. Oh, you're a horror. Shit. That's inconvenient. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Maybe I don't want the land then. I don't have to redeploy that card. Alright, send that to the bottom still. Alright. Loop the horrors to hand. Casually get attacked for 14. Losing Woe Strider in process. As far as times where I have gotten hit by 14 and, like, am still alive, this is pretty okay. Which is wild. Fuck Treasure Cruise. Alright, sorry, just had some flashbacks to a different era of Legacy. Also, why is this so wide? I'm sorry, I did not realize that was this wide. Alright. There. Battlefield is bigger. So, Innkeeper. Make my treasure token into Innkeeper. Make my treasure token gain some life. And I think I just go ahead and play this now. I still have enough for a Bolas' Citadel if I were to top one next turn. Like, I just do this and gain the life that I can gain immediately. Yeah, these cards are silly. I like these. I don't think I'm gonna trade the treasure token for Llanowar Elves and 2 life here. Because, like, Llanowar Elves can technically be disrupted by removal. Whereas the treasure token probably isn't. Yeah, these strategic planning type cards helping to fuel Treasure Cruise is gross. I really like it. Yeah, okay, yeah, there is Phoenix in here as well. Alright, there's another strategic planning. My opponent can already Treasure Cruise again. They also probably get Arclight Phoenix this turn. Alright, yeah, that is a pretty stocked graveyard. Okay, they have Lightning Axe to my Sifter, which is fine. I don't know that Sifter is better than just taking out one of these Innkeepers. Oh god, they discarded another Arclight Phoenix with that Lightning Axe. Cool, just casual 20 damage NBD. Probably have to block 7 of that here. And then I imagine unless I top Bolas' Citadel, I'm just, like, not in this game anymore. Do I cast this now? Do I cast that in combat? Maybe I cast that in combat. I don't know. If I cast it now, I can potentially gain more life off another Llanowar, like off Llanowar Elves if I hit another Innkeeper. Mayhem Devils are cool here. Catacomb Sifter also cool. Probably take one of each. Now, if I take a double Mayhem Devil, treasure token kills something itself. So Catacomb Sifter is multiple bodies, which probably matters more. Holy triggers, Batman. Okay. That's a lot of life gain. Okay. And then I'll do it again. Yeah. Okay. I do absolutely feel like I am playing a deck that has the ability to grind now. I can probably even poke my opponent here with these because I don't want to block with these basically under any circumstances. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, it's like very possible I turn the corner on this game if I rip well. How much does my... Okay, my opponent's just going to send it all in. How much damage do I have going at them directly? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with 2 sacrifices. I'm like surprisingly close to killing my opponent here. The question of like, can I take this much? Because like the flyers are a problem. If I do something like this, sacrifice this creature for a mana, and kill one of these with some triggers. Land goes to bottom. 1 damage to that, and then I'll finish it off by sacrificing a treasure token. By Phoenix, take 10, staying at 8 life. Then I'm not just dead in the air. Next turn to double Phoenix. I can still cast a Bolas's Citadel if I top deck one. A Bolas's Citadel with multiple of these things in play does sound hot. Oh god, the extra turn card. I am just absolutely dead to that. I will concede there. Disgusting. Okay. Okay. My opponent has just conceded. Great testing. All right. I have mana acceleration. I have a collected company. I have this thing. I have a Bolas's Citadel. I will need one more mana source here in order to kind of like make the deck fire on all cylinders. But I think if I like start getting to Coco, I'll be pretty happy with where this hand goes. All right, so this has to be a shock into elf, and we'll call it a turn. And had my opponent not conceded the previous game, I would have sideboarded into Corvold's. All right, sweet. There is another land. I am pretty much always going to want that for red. This one can't produce black, but I can hold off on that decision. All right, let's play an Innkeeper here. Get my treasure token and bash in for 1. And yeah, we're looking good in terms of like working towards something that has a realistic chance of beating my opponent. I don't know exactly what my opponent is going to be doing. Like I don't know what multiple swamps is supposed to be indicative of in Pioneer. Like it is probably a mono black control deck, like the Devotion style deck. All right, when do I want to cast Collected Company? Probably opponent's end step. It might cost me a couple of life to do it that way, but it gives me better flexibility. So let's crash in for the 1 point of damage there and call it a turn. There's also a world where I play Catacomb Sifter to try to like power out Bolas's Citadel earlier. All right, it is Coco time. Finishing the thought, to power out Bolas's Citadel earlier before it gets taken by a discard spell was going to be the tail end of that thought. All right. So I get some life here. My opponent gets to take my Bolas's Citadel. But I'll still have a pretty decent amount of gas. Oh. Oh. Oh, do you just have another? I see. So I'll play this for the green side. I am just short of Bolas's Citadel because this is 2 other creatures. So I can do it next turn. I'm 1 mana short right now of deploying this. I don't think I have to leave this up. It's possible I should to play around Meat Hook Massacre a little better. But I'm just going to crash in and take my damage. All right, Cabal Stronghold. Multiple Cabal Strongholds at that. I mean, I'm supposed to go for it, right? And I probably just do it in pre-combat. Right. Target you. Sacrifice 2 other creatures. Let's play a Bolas's Citadel. And see. Oh, hell yeah, it has resolved. Probably want more black mana here. That one I can't do anything about. I need to get a Woe Strider in play so that I can start scrying. But that's okay. 4 mana. I don't... Oh, wow. Okay, sure. Yeah, so This just puts it into hand. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm not actually very good at taking that Planeswalker out of play as of right now. Green on the other side. Play the green side. Uh I'm gonna go with no there. Let's just play a Woe Strider. Do this thing. I think I'll activate the priest. Actually, I'll make a food first. Yeah, let's make a food. Then activate priest. You know what? Fuck it. We're going big. I'll keep this Bolas' Citadel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 permanents right now. All right, so now target you. Sack goat. I don't really want to draw that though. Drain 2 is cool, but let's just sacrifice the goat. Just try to scry that to the bottom. Hell yeah. I think I can just do this at any time, right? Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. All right, let's get Prosperous Innkeeper twice. And then attempt to just keep going. All right. Always yield to these. Always yield to these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite there. I think I can call it a turn there and just kind of hold some stuff up, though. I don't really want to sacrifice the creatures that I have in play. Like, they're just good. All right. You've got plenty of swamps. Let's see if I get hit by some sort of, like, mutilate type card. I don't know what this is. When it dies, choose 2. Your opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Sure. That's fine. Like, my priest can very easily just handle that card. Okay, there's a Woe Strider that I can just play from the top. And, like, I basically get all of the life back immediately from the Prosperous Innkeepers, because I just gain 2 when that enters, and then gain 2 from the token. And play Blood Crypt. I don't need to pay mana for that. Yeah, there's a Mayhem Devil. That will absolutely just result in a kill. Very nice. There's a Collected Company just for lols. There's another Mayhem Devil and a Catacomb Sifter. Yeah, now we're just showing off. Oh, any order. Put these on the stack. Yeah, this is sick. Now I just get to activate a Bolas' Citadel and air quotes do the thing. Yeah, this is cool. Okay. Let's activate a Bolas' Citadel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mayhem Devil triggers. Pretty sick. Okay, there we go. And now I can just F6 now that I have everything on the stack. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. Let's do that again. So we are playing against a mono black control deck list. I think if my opponent doesn't have a sweeper, it's pretty likely that I win. So I probably want, like, Thoughtseize to surgically take sweepers out. Corvold seems a little less good. Like, I really like the card draw side of things, but, like, Corvold is not a hit for Coco specifically, and it feels like a resolved Bolas' Citadel beats my opponent most of the time. From here, I don't know exactly what to cut. This list is a little tighter than the one I played last time around. Maybe I can junk, like, 1 Priest, 1 Catacomb Sifter. Well, this is kind of whatever, but is indestructible. So, like, that's worth something. Yeah, I like what's going on here. I have a decent amount of life gain and ramp. I assume I lose the Gilded Goose here. I do. The Goose is not on the loose. I can always play this next turn, so let's just get this Overgrown Tomb out of the way. And then we'll see how well my opponent can disrupt me in these opening turns. Let's just get the Innkeepers going. Take my treasure tokens, and then see how dirty my opponent can do me in terms of, like, removal and picking apart my hand and such. They'll need, like, a card advantage engine to really go ham. The red side of this. I'm unsure how deep to go here. I absolutely do this. And then, like, do I sacrifice both treasures to just play out Mayhem Devil? I don't think so. The treasures are better, like, once I have it in play. I'm just going to go ahead and play a priest here. Then if I get 2 for 1 by a sweeper, I don't lose the Mayhem Devil, which feels like the prize of my current hand. Alright, it is a Liliana again. I guess, like, Mayhem Devil attacking and being good at that in combat is a reason to have played it the previous turn. Let's Thoughtseize my opponent. What is this? The Tutor. And I know that one. Let's take the Tutor. I don't want my opponent tutoring for a sweeper. Then I will play out Mayhem Devil and attack Lily for 2. That's fine. And then I can use a Mayhem Devil trigger at any time off this treasure token to ping for 1. My opponent just, like, essentially has a I'm hitting my land drops machine. And we'll have to deal with this a little bit later. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life. Sure. I think I sacked this here. And I can attack Lily for lethal. So I'll just ping here. Alright. Situation's not so bad. It could very quickly become worse, though. So we'll see where it goes. Alright, attack Lily. Attack you. Have a ping ready. And I'm working towards top decking like a Coco or a Bolas' Citadel or something. Exile all creatures in Planeswalker with mana value 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creatures or Planeswalkers with mana value 3 or less from all graveyards. Fair. Fair. Alright, so now I'm gonna have a Professor Onyx to worry about. And I assume this card will probably do gross things to me. Yeah, there's the Cabal Stronghold activation to cheat on the mana. And that's a lot of selection. Opponent can also yeah, oh god, there's the Magecraft side of this as well. That card is going to kill me fast. Does this have a -3, sacrifice a creature with the greatest power? Yuck. So if I hold this, it's vulnerable to discard. And if I don't, it's vulnerable to minus. Yeah, I'm gonna try to hold. This is spooky. Like, opponent's deck is slow, but has very good selection. And I guess I should keep an eye on what goes to graveyard here. 6 mana. Now my opponent can play some big dumb dragons. Target opponent sacrifices a creature if they can't. Sure. So, yeah. That stings. That's a lot of damage. The opponent has, like, kind of... ah! So now I'm just dead. I'm just legitimately dead. Opponent gets props for that. Do I need more discard? Like, do I need to go blank to help fight against the top end of my opponent's deck? Maybe I can't be spending 3 mana on that. Like, maybe I need to be spending my mana getting on board. I think Priest is worse than I thought it was. I think I'm just going to play this as a creature with 3 power. Like, I'll keep a couple of Priests, because, like, my opponent did show me at least 1 dragon. And, like, it's still a 2 mana play. I think this one's a no. If I had 1 more land, I would be good with it. This does not have red mana. That's unfortunate, but I think it is a keep. Don't think I need Overgrown Tomb here. Although it's pretty free to play it on turn 2 as of right now. Okay. Alright. Marsh into Elf. We'll hope to top deck a red land so that, like, this hand is very actively good. Alright. We're chilling. I get 2 draws for a red land. Okay, that kind of counts. We just do that tapped. Play a goose. That can serve as my mana fixing for the first one of these. Unless it just like eats and eliminate here. Bolas is Citadel. Okay. Absolutely play the black side here. And just play out the Mayhem Devil. I expect it to die in some capacity. Okay, what just entered the exile zone and why? As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of black cards from your hand. Okay. So they just used that to kill my Mayhem Devil. That's fine. The duress stings. The duress taking that Bolas' Citadel there is really rough. Okay. Alright, there's a red land. So I've got that going for me. I have the ability to, like, make Gilded Goose, make a food. Okay, my opponent is just going for my red land. I get to ping with Mayhem Devil for that. How am I doing on basics in this deck with this mana base? Okay, I have a swamp. But my opponent did take me off of short-term red. Go ahead. Nope. Just go ahead and make my food now in case I want to sacrifice that. Bash in for the 3 damage. I'd say opponent's favored here. Like, I'm kind of off a color. I have onboard damage, but my opponent's deck is just absolutely packed full of removal. And they're not very far away from starting to turn the corner with Planeswalkers. Yeah, that tutor's probably fine, right? I don't have anything to worry about. I don't want to sacrifice this food in case I need to eat it for color fixing. Alright. Play the green side of this, I guess. Make a food now. Bash in for 3. And then I just assume bad things happen to me. Yeah. Do I sack food for damage? I think I do. I can make more food. The real question is, do I sack the second, since I don't have actual red mana? I think I don't. Well, actually, I have so much mana that I can just, like, use to make a food and then eat it if I draw another Mayhem Devil. That's later. Alright. That Coco was a very good draw. I'll make my opponent commit their mana to whatever they're going to do first. Okay. So I think I'll go ahead and just sacrifice my goose here. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to cast the Coco. Casting the Coco gives me more options. Yeah. Ooh. Those are good. I'm going to take a Woe Strider. And honestly, probably just a Catacomb Sifter. Just take the things that provide the most immediate damage boost. Any order with those. Just sacrifice that goat. Good with it. Make a food token as well. Goodbye, goat. Get a scry one. Put that on the bottom. Call it good. Innkeepers. Whatever. That's worth 6 damage. That puts opponent to 8. I think I'm just going to hold the Innkeeper in my hand. Yeah, I'm just going to hold that in my hand. Because, like, right now the thing that beats me is a sweeper. And, like, that, like, a sweeper is the argument for why I take Clothis on a previous turn. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. So, end of turn. I'll go ahead and make a food token here. I may be supposed to scry sacrificing this Scion. I think I like that. Bolas' Citadel. That may go on the top, yes. You know what? I'm gonna keep it on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I might be able to cast the Innkeeper later in this turn. Alright, Bolas' Citadel, here we go. I'll absolutely pay the life for that. Nice. We'll play an Innkeeper by getting green mana here. Get my treasure token. And then try to get to the point where I can kill my opponent this turn. I think I'm pretty much there already. Like, I might be at 10 permanents. Alright, there's a Catacomb Sifter. Absolutely. Make that, get more life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I am already at lethal amounts of damage. In case something goes wrong, play this too. Keep this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is the laser, and we have gotten the GG. All right. Always yield. Okay, and after going through all of those triggers, I do kind of reduce my opponent's life total to 0. That's technically a round 5, but like I'm really enjoying this now. Let's do one more. All right, final round here. I think I'm gonna keep this hand. It's a little unimpressive, but can produce a lot of bodies relatively quickly, and I think I'm ultimately okay with that. Let's play the green side of this, and I think I'll just play Mystic first, because I'm going to want to repeatedly use this mana, because I have multiple like Catacomb Sifters that I want to, in theory, cast. Looks like we might be playing against a control deck of some kind. Yeah, sure. That's reasonable. There's a Citadel. I think this is just an Innkeeper turn, like, so that I can start playing Catacomb Sifters. I maybe don't need to hurry towards Bolas's Citadel, like, and just like try to get Gilded Goose active. Okay, cool. So this gives me all of my colors. I think I will go ahead and play this free combat, so that I guarantee gain myself the life in case anything happens to the Innkeeper. Okay. They do not like the Sifter. That's fine with me. And I'll gain another life off of this. And bash in for 1. I don't think I need to play the Gilded Goose this turn. Like it would cost me a mana to like make a mana next turn. I already can attempt Bolas's Citadel next turn. Fires of Invention. Okay. And to Wandering Emperor. Sure. Okay. Alright. I don't have to worry about counterspells from this deck then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Black out of this. Follow us out of that. Damn it. No. Okay. Well, here's to hoping they can't just randomly destroy my Bolas's Citadel. So my opponent can get a lot of value out of these fires. Interesting. Kind of thought that was going to be a plus, but it looks like my opponent is just valuing getting a second body out of it. Oh, fuck. No. How bad is this? It's fucking bad, folks. It's real fucking bad. Bolas's Citadel, Fire of Inventions. I'm just gonna like sit back like this and whatever happens happens. My opponent like can get a free Yorion, which they can then use to bounce Agent of Treachery and reset the loyalty of Wandering Emperor. Yeah. Well, I was having fun. Then my fun was taken by my opponent, which honestly I can respect. Okay, they've got an Omen of the Sea. Uh, just gross. Just absolute, absolute fucking bullshit. uh, Legend rule the Wandering Emperor after all of that. Just take one of my lands. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright. That was awful. Kinda scared of doing anything cool like Corvold, because my opponent can just take it. I think I want the Thoughtseizes again. Corvold is something that's bigger than a Yorion, and it survives some of the red removal that my opponent is playing. I'm just really scared of like the things that my opponent can have from the sideboard, like the Supreme Verdict type cards. I think I go down on Priest. I don't know, maybe the Corvolds are good. Let's go down significantly on Priest. If my opponent plays a bunch of removal, I'm like Sweeper specifically, I'm very worried about like getting that active. This is fine. Do I Thoughtseize on turn 1 or just play a bird on turn 1? I think I like playing the bird on turn 1. Like, it gives me the option to play Mayhem Devil and Friends starting on turn 2, and yeah, and in some cases, like, eats a removal spell so that a better card later doesn't eat that removal spell. I don't really like this turn, though. Deal a lot of damage to myself. Hopefully this picks apart my opponent's hand very well. Search for planes, wall, gain 2 life. How much damage is this? This is 3 damage. The 0/4 wall is really annoying. They will not get damage in with Mayhem Devil or Woe Strider or whatever. Fire Prophecy gives them some selection, though. They can turn one of those lands into a non-land. Take the Fire Prophecy. Alright. There's Steam Vents into Birth. Alright. Opponent has a bunch of lands. I'm shocking. I don't think I'm quite ready for Mayhem Devil yet. I think I'm just going to play the thing. Well, I guess none of these really attack well. I'll play the Woe Strider so that I can get Scries going. I'm not, like, quite ready for them yet. Because, like, I want to scry when I'm making things like Elected Company into live draws. Alright. Yeah. I will play Mayhem Devil at this point. Now I'm good with that, because that turns the goat into potential damage, as is the food token. Oh, fuck. I could have attacked with Woe Strider. And then if my opponent blocks, I sack the goat token to finish it. I missed 3 points of damage. Alright, it is what it is. Alright, you can have your 2 life from that. Haha. And that can go to your face. And we'll see where opponent can go from here. Table of the Mirror Breaker, absolutely. They're pausing on my upkeep. I want to play the green side of this. Let's play out some critters. And then play a goose as well. Right. Good stuff. So now I can go ahead and make these attacks. I have a lot of Mayhem Devil triggers. I don't actually like that for me. I'll bring it back in a bit. Let's sacrifice this goat. Deal damage to that wall. Scry. I don't need Innkeeper at this point. Let's hunt for like a Bolas' Citadel. You know what? Fuck it. I don't need Goose. I don't like how I played this one. Another Woe Strider. That's okay. I'm gonna try to go hard, though. Alright, so I've got 1 damage on that. Let's resolve these Scries. Don't care about Innkeeper. Sifter's okay. Again, I'm going hard, though. Sacrifice this. Take another damage at this creature. No to Llanowar Elves. No to land. Alright. Yeah, I should have just killed that thing prior to attacking. I kind of thought my opponent might want to keep that creature around. But they were relatively likely to block with it. Okay. Basically, anything that isn't a Supreme Verdict style card is fine with me. Alright, a Fire Prophecy. That is 1 mana. No, that is 2 mana. Okay, but they have 2 mana. So let's just go ahead and sacrifice that. And this damage can go at them directly, because I can already just easily kill Narset. A new Mayhem Devil is an above average draw. I'll take that here. You stay on top. Right. Good stuff. Play Mayhem Devil. Kill Narset. Sack you for 2. And then I've got a decent game from here. I can sacrifice 2 foods to just ping and kill this token. That's probably going to be my line for my turn. And then I get in for 8 damage. And then that's Yori into hand, which gets to reset a decent number of things. Like, Yorion will very actively be good. I probably just cast this. Like, Mayhem Devil get in for 8 is very good. Collected Company might just kill my opponent outright, though. I don't know. Maybe I can, like, wait and do that next turn. Yeah, maybe I can wait and do that next turn. Do the same effect. This is a lot of guaranteed damage. I don't have matchup experience here to know whether or not this is correct. Okay, opponent's done with me. All right. I don't think I'm gonna change anything in terms of sideboarding here. Abrupt Decay actually is probably better than this Priest, because it just like gets rid of most of the early problematic enchantments. My opponent will still get value off of them because they're sagas, and that's how sagas work. But I wouldn't mind having access to a single Abrupt Decay in there somewhere. Still 25 hits for Coco. This is a one land hand with multiple Bolas' Citadels in hand. This is not going to cut it. This has too much mana, but I probably don't want to go to 5. I probably keep the bonus black land to work towards like triple black for Bolas' Citadel. And we'll see how this one starts off. Ghost Rider, okay. Always play this side. I gotta play Gilded Goose as the bait spell here. Just let my opponent use an early removal spell on that rather than Elvish Mystic. That feels good to me. Okay, yeah. And I was indeed successful there. Now this current turn can just be Elvish Mystic into tapped Overgrown Tomb. I don't take any life loss here. My hand now has access to triple black for Bolas' Citadel if I get to the point of the game where that actually matters. Ooh, opponent does not have more lands. That is good news for me. I go ahead and take my 1 point of damage in combat here. And these attack for the same amount of damage. I'll hold the Woe Strider, I guess. Just play the Sifter. Yeah, so opponent might have kept like a 2-land hand hoping Fire Prophecy and their draw steps could get them towards their 3rd land. Okay, which they have now found. Right, there's a Fable. We'll get their 2/2. This thing attacks into Fable, which is maybe a reason to like play this rather than the other one. All right, land, Woe Strider, and bash in with this safely. And I'll probably sacrifice a goat to scry. I want to take advantage of my opponent's like poor mana situation. This trigger maybe gets them out of that though. Like, because when they just control like 2 true white producing lands, they don't have a lot of options, especially in terms of multiple spells. Oh, they junked a Chain to the Rocks. Okay. Please don't play a sweeper. Okay, Fires. Fires is really good. We'll see how crazy they can go with it. Fuck! Yeah. That gets Agent of Treachery. Yeah, so this is other. I can't sacrifice itself to fizzle the trigger. I think I'm still going to sacrifice a goat to scry too. Thoughtseize is not good here. I need to impact the board. Land is not good here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna sacrifice this Scion here and just like look for a Citadel. No to Thoughtseize. Coco's good enough. I'll take that. So I'm not expecting my opponent to have counterspells, so I can probably just play Coco on their turn. Can't really attack with this. Yeah, let's call that good. And I'm hoping to do end of turn, Collected Company, and do something gross. Cool. So that just transmogrifies into a new Agent of Treachery. Targeting a land. That's fine. I can just float my mana and let them take that. They'll have the mana necessary to cast Collected Company. And we'll see if I can safely snag that creature in combat. There's a Mayhem Devil and a Goose. And a Goose. Goose produces black mana. Alright. Those can go on the bottom in any order. Make my token. This is a 3/2. Good trade with Catacomb Sifter here. Catacomb Sifter is really good with Woe Strider in play, though. I'll take the hit. Alright, I go to 17. Opponent can cast 2 spells a turn, right? Yeah. So they can get one more spell here. Alright, Wandering Emperor. Less scary at sorcery speed. Still good. But... oh, this is just going to be Yori into hand? Yeah. Which is obnoxious. Mayhem Devil. Yeah. I'll cast that. Every permanent I junk is 2 here. Does this kill my opponent? Sack a food token with Goose. That's 2. Then with Woe Strider, a little short. Yeah, I'm a little short here. So I'll sacrifice my food token. And I need to kill this reflection of Kiki Jiki. And then I have 8 easy damage. This is a 3/3. I guess I can just attack with these. Yeah. I'm gonna attack them. Kind of put them in a difficult situation. Okay, they just took all that. Are they dead? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, they're dead. Sacrifice a goat. Mayhem Devil triggers at you. Save targets. Try. That can go to the bottom. That can go to the bottom. Yeah, okay. Then they see the writing on the wall. Okay. As it stands now, this deck is now ready for leagues. I don't think the deck list at the beginning was, but I really like the changes that I've made here. The Cat Oven stuff is synergistic with the Mayhem Devils and such, but this deck just didn't have enough early plays in this original iteration, right? So like Fatal Push is often not a turn 1 play, neither is Village Rites. And sometimes these are not even turn 2 plays, which left this deck kind of lacking in the early turns, whereas this deck is just much more dense with early plays, and the early plays contribute to the Bolas's Citadel plan better. I think this deck list is a lot of fun as is. It's somewhat resilient. It has fantastic top decks of like Collected Company and Bolas's Citadel. I'm not going to claim this is the best thing that Pioneer has to offer, but this is really cool. I don't think the Aetherflux Reservoir tech, which is in the original version of the deck list, is better than just Prosperous Innkeeper. Prosperous Innkeeper, especially in multiples, is really good at making your Catacomb Sifters and Woe Striders better. So I really like this deck as it stands now. And Sean, I hope this tuning process was helpful to you. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. If you have any other ideas for tech or changes to the deck list, feel free to throw those in the comments. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!